Hey, how's it going? GAS, also known as Gear Acquisition Syndrome, is the perceived pressure to needlessly spend money on gear that would otherwise not improve one's creative abilities.
There is one big advantage that this wireless microphone has compared to every
Ooh,
other
I like
microphone
Rode.
on the market.
So
This is the PGY Tech
Boxes.
sent me a mystery package. I don't exactly know what's in it. So these first two, inside this box is the first one of these to ever be made. In preparation, if you're looking at buying a new camera, there's a good chance you're upgrading from something that you already own. Whether that's the camera that's on your phone, or in my case, I recently upgraded from the Canon R5 to the Canon R5 Mark II. And that might seem like the obvious thing to do, like a great
that's
decision.
barely an
Like,
upgrade.
of course,
Why would you do
upgrade
that?
your camera. But it actually
Oh, you
created a
misfocused
lot
there
of
a little bit.
headaches. And that's because every time you upgrade, This year I went to Sony Kondo for the first time. And when you're at Kondo,
What is
they let you
Sony
borrow
Kondo?
any camera that you want. So I borrowed
That's just
the
the name of a
A9
living
Mark
complex.
III, which came with something that I wasn't expecting. Now normally,
Mark III, that's
when I
global
shoot
shutter.
with my Canon R5 or my R5 Mark II, I don't use a camera strap. But the strap that I have is very thick. Like, it's overbuilt, it has all these buckles, it's heavy, it doesn't really fold down into a nice
Honestly,
compact
I'd like to use
space.
that one.
Generally speaking, I'm not a huge fan of peak. I recently filmed a campaign for Lexus, and one of the challenges that I faced shooting that campaign was that most of the shots that needed to be captured required more than one person. And so to coordinate, I'm still not sure whether Peak Design or PGY Tech makes the better camera strap system, but the one thing I have been using for years, and you've probably seen it in a lot of my videos, is this camera clutch, I believe it's called. And you can see that the part that attaches to my camera is absolutely destroyed. But that's mainly because I've taken it on and off my camera so many times, and I kind of figured, well, if it's lasted this long, then I might as well just replace it.
Damn it. Okay.
If you are a photographer and you've never used lens filters, take a look at these two photos. One of them was shot with a lens filter, and the other was shot without a lens filter. Now, every year during the fall, I try to do some sort of trip to get out
I wonder what he's
and
gonna
shoot
do with
photos. And there's a lot inside this. About a month ago, I was scrolling this website, and I was on the homepage, and I noticed my face in a video that was not my video.
That's crazy. Who would
It
do
was
that?
actually an ad. So I got this box in the mail, and at first I thought Google had finally sent me the Pixel 9. But it's not
Probably
from Google.
knows
It's
the
actually
postman's name
from Hollyland.
by
But
now.
you could see how maybe I would have assumed that and made that mistake. And unfortunately, my Google Pixel 7 is still the phone that I'm using. But let's open this together and see what they've sent. When a company sends a PR package, so one of my biggest fails with photography, my biggest horror story, in 2017, 2016, I came back from this family vacation. I, of course, took the memory cards out of my camera. I had a little case to store them in, and I walked across the carpet from where the camera was to where the memory card reader was. And in that distance, I picked up a little bit of a Inside this case is one of the nicest upgrades that you can make to your video rig.
Oh, damn.
There are tripods that cost $50, and there are tripods that cost $1,000.
Right.
And I would say if you are anything like me, you probably have one of these lying around. And the reason that I have them is because they work with these. That is the Peak Design backpack strap. But the problem with it, depending on how wide or how not wide you are, the little plate can actually rub into your shoulder. And I could switch to a different system, but the problem is I have those plates on all of my cameras. So I am not a very fashionable person, and that's because I end up spending most of my money on camera gear and Arc'teryx, and then just wearing basic t-shirts and Lululemons. But Nomadic, the company that makes camera bags, I guess they realized I need a... Inside this box is a new lens that I've tried, but haven't tried. So the challenge with Canon There's one big advantage that Canon has over Sony,
cheap gear.
and not a lot of people are talking about.
Lots of cheap used items.
It's no secret that
well,
the RC.
I guess he won't be using it.
Last year I did a video trying to figure out who makes the best ND filter. It was my attempt at trying to figure out what variable ND filter offers the best bang for your buck. Not necessarily which one is the best, but which one has the best price to performance ratio. And so the filter. There are only two pieces of tech that I use every single day, no matter what. The first is my smartphone, and the other is this, which might not seem camera related at first, but it actually is. So this, if you're a photographer, I guarantee you have some of these. I can pretty much bet you also have one of these, and if you are a Canon shooter, a Fuji shooter, or a cinema camera shooter, then you probably also have one of these. And that's a lot to fit inside your camera bag. So what if you could combine... Most of the time when I'm out shooting photos, this is what I like to pack everything in. It's my 30-liter Shimoda Action X30, and I can put a camera, multiple lenses, I can put a tripod, and even a drone all inside of one camera bag.
That's pretty impressive.
So I opted to get something that was... I've never owned a pair of wireless headphones.
Well, same.
I'm gonna be on a 15-hour flight soon, and most of the time when I'm on a flight or traveling anywhere, I just bring these. These are like a $10 pair of Panasonic earbuds. For the price, they're amazing. But after about an hour or two of wearing them, your ears start to become uncomfortable. So I realized that it was probably time to... Have you ever seen those content creators who always seem to have the perfect lighting? Like, even though they're shooting indoors or in their basement or at 12 o'clock at night, somehow the lighting is just always hitting perfectly. Well, part of that is because they're probably... Inside this box is a piece of camera gear that I've never used before. So you may have heard that there is... We have not one, not two, not three, but 4 boxes from
probably
Lumix.
going to use the
So
entire world's camera gear by the end of this.
Actually, that's a lie. I've shot on a Lumix camera once. But Lumix asked if I wanted to try the S5 2X along with some of their lenses. And so, here, inside this box, we have 2 new cameras are coming out next month. The Canon R5 is... Cool. I saw a video yesterday of a wedding photographer who said she charges over $8,000 per wedding. It was something like $8,500 was her minimum starting price.
Good for her.
Now, I made a mistake, and you guys called me out on it. In one of my previous... I've made a lot of different videos about memory cards, different types of memory cards, sizes of memory cards compared to solid-state drives. And the one question that I get asked,
that's cool.
Stop buying memory cards. A few weeks ago, I showed you
my last memory card I won in a competition because I had the best photo.
But also one of the largest memory cards that I've ever seen. Now, to be clear, it is the world's fastest memory card. It writes at 2,800 megabytes per second and reads at 3,400 megabytes per second,
for all you
which is faster
8K filmers
than
out there.
current gen PCIe memory cards. But that memory card costs $1,500, which means most people probably aren't going to buy it.
Oh, okay. Well.
Now, if you're a video shooter looking for a professional way to power your camera rig, you might be familiar with these.
No, smaller.
These are small
They're
rigs
pretty popular.
V-mount batteries. But check this out.
This is
one of my favorite items that's on sale this Black Friday are tripods. And lately
we know that Black Friday deals are artificially inflated really before the deal goes on, right?
And it's also carbon fiber. But
I guess not.
If your camera happens to take CF Express Type B cards, ProGrade is now making a more affordable. Here are 3 pieces of camera gear that are on sale this Black Friday that are worth picking up. Most of this camera gear are things that you should probably own anyways.
I got my tripod
so
for
just
15
think
bucks
of this as like an added
Marketplace.
bonus to buy them when they're already on sale. Most new products coming out aren't that new. I've tried a lot of different.
Do you need a $5,000 camera to record content for the internet? Well, if I told you that this camera was actually being recorded on a sub $1,000 APS-C camera, would you believe me? That's because right now I'm inside the Canon booth at Profusion, but Profusion hasn't started yet. It's actually tomorrow where I'm going to be demoing how to use the R50 with the kit lens, but also the R5, which is my regular everyday camera. So if you're in Toronto,
Of course.
come check it out.
My camera, the Canon M50 I've been using for the past 2 years, I got it for $350 on eBay. And I'm a photography major in university, and I also work as a videographer at my job. So, safe to say that you do not need anywhere near the top level stuff in order to, achieve the type of images and video that you want to. So yeah, don't feel pressured into consuming more than you need to, even if there are multiple people and sources telling you that there's the next new thing around the corner. It really doesn't matter. Once you become a good enough photographer, you'll know instinctively when a piece of gear is actually limiting you in terms of the things you want to create. But until then, just get a bog standard DSLR, learn the basics, climb the ropes, and enjoy your experience.